Yeah, the question is, are we actually doing this or what? It says we're broadcasting live. I got to work on the assumption that we are, right? Because this is my first time doing this thing, and man, I'll be a little cheesed if it goes south. We got Missy over here, and the big fluffy boober here. That's Doofus there. He's the only male in the house. We call him Fluffy. We call him Doofus. He kind of has a little bit of that Maine Coon going in on him a little bit, right? Uh, he and Sissy used to belong to a lady that lived next door to us, just to the east of us. She sold her house and moved last year, but like 4 years, 3, 4 years ago, him and Sissy just started showing up at the house. The next thing you know, they moved in, and this became their house. And anyway, so him and Sissy, the only two that go outside, and we do it less and less because the streets out here are crazy, and I don't want to bury either one of them. It's just harder to deal with. It's okay, Missy. Yes, Missy. I see Missy's up here because this is her room, and the door's open. So they got. It's okay, dear bird. Let me see if I can get up here for a minute. And play Mother May. Yes. What? You want to get past Missy's shit? Oh, I know. Okay. Yes, yes, I know. Big party cat. There you go. That's one of the challenges, of course, of herding cats. The cats decide who they like and who they don't like. Sometimes there is absolutely no rhyme nor reason for any of this. So, I'm just puzzled by this whole setup here. I'm probably screwing up stuff for sure because I'm trying to see if there's anything hidden under this deal, right? So, once again, I don't do live broadcasts very often. And the last couple I used to do was before I got this XSplit broadcaster. So now this thing hijacks it. If I go to my YouTube and try to do live, and it insists on going through this setup, and of course it's telling me that it's streaming live. What it don't tell me is like the chat options. Some it ought to have that open option so I can sit here and play along with it. Or maybe I have to try doing it once again through YouTube now that these two are synced together, because I get confused by some of the stuff. I acknowledge that part of it is patience and the desire to go out of my way to go learn yet another issue. For example, now that we are 10 subscribers past 1,000, I can monetize this system, and I'm trying to get there. The steps to go through that to verify you and your account, blah, blah, blah. It's a pain in the back. It just is a pain in the butt. I'm just being honest. So currently, later today, I hope to use my scanner, which still functions. The printer can't afford the ink cartridges for it. This is why I do all my printing at work, and I'm grateful that I'm allowed to do that. Although, I try to be mindful of not being I've gone overboard a little bit the last year. So I've tried to moderate that just a hair, but I can't afford those expensive ink cartridges for what little they print. For the amount that you pay for them, they might as well give you the printer free, in my opinion. But the scanner still functions, and of course, one of the verifications required or options would be to use your driver's license. Since I don't have a passport, and I don't know what the other two things are. So my driver's license is it. And to get that, you have to scan it, and then you submit it. But I think you have to scan the front and the back. I don't know. Depends on how, right? I mean, I had to do this a couple years ago when I was getting direct deposits from the IRS, and they required a bunch of this, so it's for safety protocols. I get that. Doesn't make it any less of a, for some of us. It's just, and having to make sure I'm half conscious when I do it. It's like today. It's going on 4 o'clock in the afternoon, which is rare for me. I don't normally do videos this late in the day, in part out of deference to the wife, because, it is Sunday. It's my day off today. I actually have this whole Sunday off. I had 3-day weekend. I had Friday off as well. It's just things have slowed down just a hair finally. Getting caught up with a lot of stuff, which there's still more jobs that have been missed. They're I'm dwindling through those one by one, trying to find all of them. And some of them, I don't care if I miss them or not, because they're too much of a pain in the backside to do anyway on a good day. And there's new accounts. We picked up 3 new accounts for over the last couple of weeks. I've got yet another one that the boss's wife sent me a text about. So I'm gonna have to call them tomorrow and figure out how to set them up and get them into my schedule for the next 2 weeks. I have a dentist appointment coming up tomorrow. Right, always fun. I'm feeling a little under the weather today. I'm just being honest. I know for a fact. Me and the wife did things yesterday. We did a lot. The weather was nice, and we've had a lot of rain. So when you get a nice, decent day, you kind of got to jump on everything you can get done outside. So I mowed here. We got a half acre, and we mowed at the shop. That's not even close to a quarter acre, but still, it's 2 different buildings, 2 different properties. Schlepping the equipment back and forth to do it. Then the wife also cleaned in the office this morning, and I did some odd chores up there while she was doing that. So technically, I worked the day for a whole hour maybe. So then we got our garden in, and the rest of the flower beds are all done. So everything's in that aspect's finished. Now it's just now we want the rain to come back, so the stuff will start growing, and hopefully we can start seeing some produce come out of here at our garden by mid-July. And it's like I told her, this time last month there was a real chance of frost, so you didn't really want to push that sort of stuff. And then bang, the weather, like typical for Iowa, it's ramped itself up again. Now we're averaging in the mid to high 70s, and the humidity goes up and down. We had the AC off all day yesterday and into the early part of the day, but we took a nap, got up from nap about an hour and a half ago, and it's humid as all get out. They're talking rain tomorrow, which would be about right. I have one job tomorrow. It's not a very big one, and then I'll be in the office until I go to the dentist. I learned from experience when I have procedures like the dentist to not schedule things afterwards because I'm getting a filling done. It's a never in my dental work is has put probably a couple dentist children through college. Anyway, we're still working with this live thing to see if it works. And like I said, I'm puzzled as to why I can't see any commentary, if there is any. I don't really expect much in the way of this, and if I don't respond to you, that's why. We will get to that after I once more figure out how this crap works. I don't live stream very often. I have about a half dozen, maybe a dozen live stream videos in the queue of all the videos I've done. They were all done before I got this setup. This setup is what allows me to do this down view camera thing, right when I got everything off. There, the down view. No, that's not the down view. And we're not seeing the camera, of course not. Let's see. Why are we not seeing the camera? Or is it not going to let me use the camera? I gotta plug it in, plug it off. The trials and errors of all. There we go. Right? Okay. So, let me minimize this just a hair. Welcome to my little less than cluttered workspace. It's just not enough space. I was going to do videos last weekend too, but same problem. Last weekend I really worked a lot of hours, and I just wasn't up to it. Next weekend's going to be the same way. Friday night is a long overnight Friday night, and then Sunday night is another long overnight, and even longer because I absolutely had to pin in a early morning job on Monday at 8 a.m., which means when I'm done at that overnighter, I have to stick around. And I've done it before. I'll end up parked outside this person's business for an half hour, 45 minutes, trying desperately to not fall asleep in the truck. Anyhow, I've got a stack, of videos pending that I want to do. I mean, I got the Wars Are Reaving. I want to do one on this one. This is the era that I'm familiar with. Then I think this one I've done already, but this is one I'm looking forward to do soon. And I've got the one fellow that's looking to see if you could find a fellow who actually created this fans supplement, which is always nice. Hello, Missy's over here finishing her lunch. So anyway, the main gist of the video
is one of your subscribers, a nice fellow by the name of Mark, and I'll leave the name at that. If he introduces himself after the fact, that's after you guys. Has been very generous to me, and him and the Cleveland Battletech League, which is the caption on the box, sent me a package. It came Friday, and I'm pretty sure I know what he sent. My memories play tricks on me, but I'm pretty sure what he sent me, and I'm utterly grateful for that. And that a lot of people say things. A lot of people say they're going to do things, and a few people actually do things. And it's not rare. It's just very appreciated when that happens. I try not to make promises I don't keep. That is always pan out. People are. I'm human. People are human. It's like my Stellar Frontiers, my would-be game. I haven't had a video for it in a few weeks, and that's in part because I need to do clean house. I need to sit down and spend a couple hours going through all the notes and the exchange and everything to get it all prepped up and up to date for the current cycle. And then I can determine what events I wish to pursue for the cycle. I've already had two because we had the somebody. I sent my expedition to the trade world, and then in the process, it comes out of its first stop, and a pirate ship's waiting for it, and I was able to send one of my only contracted warship there to intercede, and so it can pursue on its next stage in the next cycle. So anyway, he sent me this. Right. So we have the Cleveland Battletech League, and I probably should have, put that down. So, of course, I blocked off my own personal street address because I'm just not keen on having the whole world know where we're at. And by God, Mark, you got it taped. I guarantee you. The only thing that there was one little issue box-wise in transit. This is why you package the bejesus out of everything and make sure, because you just gotta assume that, no Missy having it go at my chair. Now we just have to figure out where the entrance opening part is, and the duct tape is a wonderful thing. I have seen lots of duct tape. Oh, look at that. I have seen lots of duct tape, and I use lots of duct tape in my job. 4 tools a young man or a young woman should always carry. Little dad advice for anybody who doesn't give a damn. 4 tools that you should always carry in your vehicle, according to my grandfather, who was a fire and brimstone Bible thumping preacher man / mechanic. He said to carry a pair of pliers, a screwdriver, a hammer, and a roll of duct tape. And the old litany goes: if you can't get a grip on it, you can't beat it. Screw it, duck it. Right. So that kind of was a laugh in a way, but it stuck with me. It worked because here we are in my 50s, and I'm quoting my grandfather verbatim as to what he said. And that I can point, a fire and brimstone fella. So, wow, dude, I did not. Wow, man, that is serious. That's very nice. I did not think you'd expect this. Oh. Let the games begin. This is the quick starts. Too quiet. Oh yeah, this is everything you need to get the basic start to go. If I didn't have 400 cats running, I didn't have a bunch of cats running around. Isn't that right, Missy? I could set it up on the table and do solo. I could do solo game on this. That is awesome. I mean, serious, dude. Awesome stuff. And then we get a package of components. And what is this? This is another sack. Oh wow, man! Serious. You're being really generous there, dude. I mean, serious. Oh, I've never seen that style. I've never seen those. These are new to me. Wow, I've never seen that. Is that a base, or is that? What is that? I don't know, but I'm looking forward to get into that a little bit more to see what it is. But I think the main gist is right here. Yes, sir. Great. Put that there. Put that down there. And this is definitely you went the extra mile there to package it, Mark. Like I said, with that slight damage on the outside of the box. Yeah, absolutely. I believe this all paid off real well, and we are looking at an awesome laptop, right? Now, Mark had told me he had a spare laying around, and you know, this is a serious thing for me. I mean, it really, really is a serious thing, because I have been trying hard for all winter to put money back to replace this laptop. This laptop here, you can't hear what I'm hearing, or maybe you can because I'm recording live. That hissing sound is the fan from the laptop. It's loud. And I've been told that that's not a good sign. And of course, you add that with all the cat hair and stuff in here. There's no way for me to pull this apart and clean the cat hair out of it. But we got this thing in the first stimulus package I got during the COVID thing was in 2022. It's been almost 2 years, man. So this is going on 2 years or older, and these laptops don't last as long as they ought to, in my mind. And holy Jesus. Now, I didn't expect you to send you said something about a pad, but I didn't expect you to send both of them, man. This is the bomb. Seriously. This is the bomb. I mean, what I like about this thing is I've always kind of wanted one for my ability to take it with me where I'm at work. There's just so many PDFs. There's a lot of really good novels that y'all sent. Mark sent me some. Others have sent me some. And it's not the same thing as sitting at home and reading something on your laptop as being able to carry it with you. I've never bought one of these. I've never bought like I said, my wife bought me this one that we got out in the living room that I'm struggling to even figure out how to do anything with. I mean, one of y'all sent me some guide on how to load some software on it, which would allow me to put PDFs on it, and I have yet to try to do that yet, because once again, timing. I'm scared about doing some of this stuff. I'm scared of screwing electronics up, and because they're so hard to replace if I screw it up. You know, I mean, I don't want to go out of my way to say that, but that's the truth. I didn't expect both of them there, man. I mean, honestly, jeez, that is a major thing. That's what all this is going to be. It'll be all the hardware that's required to plug in and run and adapt, and man, seriously, which is a great thing, because one of the things, I get this one up and running, and then I can regulate this other one to just doing videos on it, and then putting the videos in thumb drives and then moving them to the other device for uploading and downloading. I still have the previous one, so I got my last laptop, this one here, that I got 5 years ago, 6 years ago, and I don't know why, but I keep it plugged in. Great. So,
Lost the camera, of course. I'm bouncing around too much, to be my guess. And I don't know, I disconnect and reconnect.
no, it is part of the thing. Yeah, go figure. I disconnect and reconnect. I kept the other one because that one is 5 or 6 years now, I think. And I had that when I was still in the RV. So we moved into the house right before that same year that we bought the house. I bought that one, and then it became dodgy too. It has some issues that it overheats and shuts down, or just starts to do funky stuff. But I kept it because as an emergency backup in case this one utterly fails on me, then I would be totally hosed. And it's been tough, I'm not going to lie. I have a little extra, we have some extra on one of our credit cards, but our other credit cards are hit so effing hard. I mean, it's just a struggle to keep up with to even keep us at the bare minimums. It's getting harder and harder to deal with stuff like that. I mean, not that you guys, we all have problems. We all have problems. My health care is the biggest concern for me because I don't have any. I have to pay for it right out of pocket, and because my wife's on disability, I get penalized because I have to claim her on my taxes, which means my income for the year is $12,000 more than what it really is because I have to claim hers, and we didn't do that right last year when I filed taxes, and that's why I ended up owing the feds $1,900. Now we managed to pay about $800 or $900 of that so far. Maybe close to $1,000. I don't know. I send 25. We send them like $400 or $500 in one lump, and then or $600 in one lump, and then we've been sending $25 every week as often as possible. So we're trying to average another $100 a month, and still going to owing the IRS come spring. And I haven't addressed the open marketplace issue, so I'll have to do that. Now that my van payment is paid, the van's finally paid off, but it really needs to be replaced. Now, that's the downside of owning a used vehicle and not having a lot of money to be able to go and get lots of maintenance that should be done. There's things going on under there. I don't know what. You know, it leaks antifreeze, but I can't figure out where. Yet it will run. I can run half the day or all day on it with no antifreeze in the radiator, which is very bad, which is, I don't like doing that, but it does run that way. And then, of course, I still have the one tire left to go. We've replaced 3 out of 4 over the past year at $170 a pop. This last one in the back, it keeps going flat. I keep airing it up. But, the last one that did that on the other side was back we had like 12-degree weather and a blizzard that came down the day before, and it went flat on us while we were out running our Friday errands. And luckily we were able to limp into a tire store, and then I did what I don't like doing, and called my boss and begged to be allowed to borrow the money. So I used the company card to pay for the tire on my van, and then paid the company back, which I absolutely hate doing for a number of damn reasons, And I sound like a damn broken record. I get that. Sit here and gripe and bitch about the circumstances, and I could do more. I could do something different. I'm trying to. I have another fellow that's been very supportive of me towards my would-be game, for example, Interstellar Frontiers, and I have been. One of my biggest problems is I tend to procrastinate, but I find ways. I just get so tired. It's so hard to focus, and then there are the times I don't have the luxury of having to get into the process, because doing a lot of this data entry stuff takes a little bit of concentration, and if you're constantly being interrupted every 10 or 15 minutes, especially when you're doing hundreds of these little micro charts, it gets to be a real grind, right? And at the end of the day, that's how it is. I mean, I didn't write this system. I didn't create this system overnight. This was something that took literally years, and there was several renditions of it, and I'd retyped every rendition, and then the computers that they were saved on, I lost access to them. They weren't mine, and I didn't have. My own computers were gone, and I went through a very dark and rough period of time. I'm not going to go into any great detail on that because I'm just not. I don't want to go down that road. So it is what it is. So you do the best you can do, right? Sometimes it's just not enough. I mean, we've been. Once again this year, the fellow that owns the gentleman's club, the strip club next door, is paying us to mow. He still owes us for the last Friday that we mowed. It's about ready to be mowed again. He acknowledged he still hasn't paid us yet, but he will. He just will get to it on his sweet own time. And usually he'll come over in the middle of the night and leave an envelope in my grill and back with a corner sticking out, with a little handwritten note on it. But because I never know when that's going to be. Usually Sunday nights, Monday nights. So maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow it'll be out there. We used the money from the last one to pay for a lot of the flowers and garden plants that we've got into the gardens out there. They say garden at home and save money. Right. Sure. I've got $130 wrapped up in the garden. I don't know how much money I'm saving on vegetables at the end of the day, but something I learned from my dad is and a par for course, and this probably don't matter a whole lot to any of y'all, and I get that. Because most people only watch these videos for 5 to 8 minutes. I'll get an hour-long video and only get 5 or 8 minutes out of it. That's fine. I get it. I'm the same way. I'm still not sure on how the shorts things work for YouTube. Once again, I haven't devoted the time to learning. It's not that I can't learn it. I just haven't. It's just right now I'm trying to get the monetization thing. It's like the cup of coffee thing. I never did get it monetized. I mean, connected. Because I'm leery, and I don't really want to risk setting myself up for some kind of catastrophic problem by a bank account. You know, it's hard. It's bad enough to have your credit cards almost maxed out all the time, which doesn't used to be that way. The last 3 years has been real bad. Since a little before COVID started, so it wasn't just the COVID. There was a number of factors going on, but you know, we become terribly dependent on these things. I only had one when we bought the house. You know, no, two. I had two, and the wife had one. And then we picked up the Discover card, and it gave us a whopping huge amount of credit, and man, we used it. You know, I had to have repairs on the van. We bought front tires on the van. We did list. You know, a couple things we had to get fixed, and there are other things that go wrong. And then there's the medical bills and her medical bills and other things, and it just keeps adding up. And where do you get it from? You go into debt. And I've resigned myself to the fact I'll be 58 this year. I was born in 1966, so you figure the math. I should be 58 this year, and by my figuring, I'm going to have to work till I'm 70. The 70 is the maximum amount for my age bracket to get from Social Security, because there's no pension. I have no savings. I can't save for any. I can't hardly save for a rainy day. I mean, there was a while there we were able to keep like $1,000 stashed away. We had a little safe box that we'd keep money. We'd put mowing money and stuff in it. We'd have upwards of $1,000. But since COVID, it's just been brutal. The costs of everything have gone out of the control. Everything. You know, it's just, what do you do? Like everybody else, the best you can, and struggle. And some of us do better, and some of us don't. I know, as I've said before, I could jump ship and go work for somebody else and make more money and probably get benefits. And things are heading that way now. One of my big problems is, because I have Marketplace, I'm fortunate, because here in the state, in the county that I live in, the county hospital has a program that Community Cares. And if you fit under certain criteria financially, they'll cover what your insurance won't cover. So I had to have the Marketplace. They insisted on it. And the Marketplace has like a $9,600 deductible. They didn't seem to care about that. They just insisted that I have it. But that meant I had to have Medica, a very specific insurance. Because it's the only two that they accept out of the 3 that's available in Iowa. And the third one is Blue Cross Blue Shield, and that's out of I can't even touch that one with a pole, money-wise. So I had to go with Medica, and the deductible is $9,600 out of pocket. So if I didn't, I would be like not having insurance at all. Well, I'm currently only paying $70 a month for this Medica, but because of the adjustments we have to make, it's going to leap up to about $250. And I have to do that this month. At the end of the month, when I get my next Medica bill for this, I'm going to then call Marketplace and make the adjustments, and have to figure out how to come up with another $180 a month for this bill. Now, like I said, we did pay off the medical bill, we did pay off the van, but in another year or less, we're going to have to get another van. That's why I'm doing my level best to not default on any of my credit cards. We're holding on, and sometimes we can gain a little bit on them, but then something comes along and knocks it down again. But I just working on the morbid assumption that when I hit 70, and I officially go on Social Security, and according to the news, it'll still be there. In some form or another, it'll always be there, I suspect. Anyway, I will go on full disability, and the reason I work until 70 is to get the max allowed, which is like 140% of your base. Too many people make that mistake and retire, quote, retire early. So I got several aunts and uncles that did that, and they retired at 65 or 63 because they were eligible, but they only get like 80%, and that's a lot. When you have a little, I'm learned from my wife. She gets what you would get from Social Security. She gets $1,040 a month. Well, that you can't live off that. I mean, our mortgage is $700 right there. She would be able to cover our mortgage and our base utility bills, and that would be it. There would be nothing else left. And I have to look at that. So at some point, we're going to reach that stage, and I've resigned myself to the fact I'm probably going to be working part-time as long as I'm physically able to. It is what it is. But I need to get that max amount for the disability or for Social Security, and that means working until I'm 70. So another 12 years. And I don't know that I can do 12 years of what I'm doing now. Physically, it's taking its toll on me. I've acknowledged that to my employers. I said there's some of these customers we do that are becoming harder and harder for me to physically do. They're really becoming a problem, and we're either going to have to address that by having other people help me do them when they come up, or let them go. Right? We are letting one of those go. We had a contract with the VA hospital here in Des Moines, $25,000 a year, and between the exhaust hoods, the kitchen or the exhaust hoods, the lint ducts, and the laundry room, and the grease interceptor out front, that's a lot of money. But the amount of paperwork BS that they've ramped up for security reasons is making it very daunting. For a small mom and pop, the boss's wife just utterly hates it. And she's like, she wanted to leave it and drop it. And then they asked me what my opinion was, and I told them, let it go. I said the damn interceptor is in bad shape. They won't listen to anything I say, and eventually they're going to, something will go south, and then they'll want to blame us for it. I mean, I'm just being honest. Plus, getting in and out of there is a pain in the butt, and then you're dealing with all the security issues. I mean, there wasn't an issue. Now there is issues, like I'm stealing their grease or something. I don't know. It is government protocols, which is fine. I get why they're doing it, but for some people and for some outfits, it's just not cost effective or going to work. So that's a big count we're dropping. All right. Anyway, off into a long tangent on crap I really wasn't meant to go on about, because, like I said, I really need to do about 5 or 6 damn videos, but I just don't have the energy. I'm just tired today, and I mean tired like kind of tired. I don't feel sick. I just feel like I got pressure up in here, and I didn't sleep so hot last night, and we was up all day yesterday. I didn't get a nap in yesterday like I try to do on my days off. Then we worked all morning, and then all afternoon I did other stuff and ran a couple errands. And then we stayed up a little later, because it's Saturday. We stayed up a little later, and then I just couldn't sleep very good. And then, of course, a couple of Frankie likes to come in about 4 o'clock in the morning, starts smacking me in the head with her claws to wake me up, because she figures it's about time for me to get up anyway, because she's used to me getting up around 5:30 in the mornings. So unless I'm doing an overnight, she just gets that's her routine. And then, of course, Doofus, the big fluffy guy who was just up here a little bit ago, he just whining up a storm, and he's very vocal, which cheeses off. And then we get into that. He's a cat, not a person. You can't scream at them and expect them to listen. So he wanted to go outside. We let him and Sissy outside yesterday for a couple hours, and they came back on their own, which is always a great thing, because we don't have to go chase them through the woods and crap, which I've done. Once we're back in the house, our policy is that's it. And then we had to leave this morning to run to the shop so we could do the clean, the office cleanup and stuff up there this morning. And so we got up and I made breakfast, and I think about 4.5, 5 hours of sleep, and it was kind of dodgy in there between, and I was just not feeling very good about any of it physically. I just feel like, I don't know, kind of hungover kind of thing. Yes, I had a couple beers last night, but not that damn many beers. Just tired. I honestly think I burned. We really did a lot yesterday, physically speaking. For her, really, she was aching, knees aching, and arms are aching. And anyway, so I got a dental appointment tomorrow. I've got a regular doctor's visit on Wednesday, and then next Monday she has to go to a podiatrist for her hands, because she's suffering a lot of pain in there. And they've determined it's not arthritis. They've given her shots, and the shots wear off pretty quick. And so I suspect the next stop is going to be there's some kind of ligament thing in there they might want to shave I think is what they said. So we proceed with that. But that was another reason we went to the county, because a year before she was working using through Unity Point Healthcare. It was a good system. It was a lot of nice people. When we had insurance, we go through them a lot. Well, she has Medicare, but Medicare doesn't cover everything. They don't tell you that. And what little it doesn't cover, I mean, it covers a lot, don't get me wrong, but what little it doesn't, we have to pay out of pocket. And we were stressed to come up with some of that. When there was a couple, you need $800 before you even do the procedure. Where the hell do you come up with that? The credit card, right? I mean, it's just like they do that on purpose. So, I mean, it is what it is. Let's see if I can turn this thing on or not. Of course, like everything in my world, I gotta learn the new stuff. Is that the on switch over there? No. 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 Is that the on switch? That's probably the on switch there. Yes, sirree, Bob. I have never had an iPad of any sort, whatever you want to call it, and except this, the one we bought through a mail order catalog at Christmas, and we probably paid 4 times what it's worth, right? And it's got some obscure, nobody knows what brand it is kind of thing. I had a TV once like that it was called a Liquid, and nobody even knew what a Liquid was, and I didn't either. I was like, well, it was cheap. And it was what I could afford, and it was like I had access to, right? Awesome sauce. It is now Sunday, May 12th, going on 6 o'clock, and right, we are going to ask me for a password. I don't know. Do I have a password? I don't have a password. Something I will have to get with Mark about and see what we need and what we don't need, because, like I said, I'm stoked. I really am. This is really very generous, man. Serious, Mark. This is seriously generous. Yeah. All right. I mean, I've never owned an Apple in my lifetime either, so this might be a bit of a learning curve. But a MacBook Air. All right. I got USB port, charging port, little micro thumb drive port there. Yeah. Yes, sir. Ethernet, looks like an Ethernet cord over there. And then he sent me these, and of course this. Let's not forget this. This is great, right? I've seen these I've seen once or twice at the local game store, but once again, I just didn't have the cash at the time to pay for it, and I've still got a number of items. Dr. Death, he sent me some great, I think, North One Highlanders. He sent me a couple box sets, and somebody else sent me some previous year before that. I have, oh wow, some of my first Omnimex, man. Serious, right? I've got them out there, and I've been trying to. I started painting on them, and now they just sit there in the paint cradle up there on my shelf, taunting me, messing with me. Okay, so now these I'm not familiar with, so I'd be interested to know what those are bases for something, obviously. So, oh yeah, this is some awesome stuff, man. The sad part is that most of you guys can identify these things on site, what mech and model they are, and I don't have that acumen yet. All right. Oh yeah, this little battle damage. Somebody's leg laying down there, or leg or arm laying down there under the thing. Awesome stuff, man. Serious. This is great. Like, I'm hoping, like I said, in the not too damn distant future, I need to just make an effort to get out to the Hobby Haven or JCD and Hobby, either one of them. There's 2 game stores here in town, and I use the term loosely because Mayhem Comics is probably the actual game store. It has the largest selection of games related stuff, but their Battletech shelf is heavy. It's pitiful, to be honest. It's almost token. Yeah, we got some Battletech. It's over there in the corner, next to the 3 rows of Warhammer. and a lot of Star Wars, some kind of Star Wars tabletop board gaming material, Starfighters, X-Wings and TIE Fighters stuff. They get quite a bit of that there too. The RPG section just kind of shrinks down, expands and shrinks, but it's never been that fantastic. Then the bulk of the store is actually a big game room. The entire half of the building is a game room, and you can go in and just show up. There is a local group that gets together, plays BattleTech, but I can never seem to get there when they're there, or when they say they're going to be there. I've tried connecting with a few via Facebook, but I get hard. It's hard for me to want to commit to things of this kind of nature. It's like I have a standing invitation with a fine individual who's wants to have. We want to have a discussion about the total immersion and his game group's pursuit of that total immersion, four-dimensional play for role playing, and I don't want to get committed to it because A, I don't know my damn computer can handle the system. B, I'm not sure how I can connect to it without getting into a discussion because all this has to be pre-approved, right, before I do any of that. And then there's the I don't want to really debate. I'm not arguing their perspective or their stance or their wishes or their desires. I applaud it. Hey man, any play you play is great. My concerns, though, in some ways, is how elitist it comes off by certain people. And that's just a personal issue on my part, and that's not really worth having a debate about, let alone a discussion. And then, it's just, how do you go from there? I really admire what they're doing over there, and his crewmen. They have a lot of passion for it. Absolutely passion. And I have played in games similar to it. I have made attempts to play that way through play by post, and usually get people cheesed off at me for it. Of course, I acknowledged my last play by post game I ran 2 years ago was through. I was using the D&D Beyond platform, but after it got acquired by Wizards of the Coast and all the insanity that's going on with Hasbro and WotC these days, I dropped my subscription to it. And there's the D20 system. I have not tried that yet. There's other systems available too. Problem with some of them is the graphic requirements that your computers require to operate well. Maybe just a little bit more than my capacity to handle, because I don't have a lot of oomph in this laptop. This laptop is like a $300 laptop when I bought it. It was the best I could afford at the time. Now I go back in the day when I used to spend $2,000 for a computer. I remember paying over $2,000 for a Gateway in the 90s. Now that was 90s money too, so I mean it was the best I could afford. It was the next from the top tier from all the equipment that went into it. And it was designed to play video games on it, and I can't afford to do that now. I was able to do that then because I was a selfish bastard who lived at my parents' and didn't give a damn about paying any of my bills to anybody but what I wanted to do. Even after I got married and had a kid, I still pursued that kind of mindset, and much to the detriment of both myself, my family, and my parents. It wasn't until many years later and getting smacked in the head with a rock more than once because of my own arrogance and stupidity, and the way systems sometimes will do that to you, and rightly so, that I had to learn to step up and stand out on my own, and that is why I started that. That's why I was homeless in late 16. I ain't kidding people when I say that. I was literally living out of a borrowed car. Then I went to work for my boss, and then between my wife and I, and because she was staying with my mom, because I couldn't have her living in the car with me, and so between them and my sister's help, we got together enough money to go buy that old RV that some of my early videos are shot from. And I moved from the car to that, and would park wherever I could for free, often at my work. My boss didn't care, but his wife did, but she grudgingly got around it. But we stayed. I stayed there until my mom passed away in the spring of '17, and this changed things radically again, because once again I could usually go out there and park at the house and or on my weekends and stuff like this. Well, mom's house had to go, went to probate, and then the medical bills chewed up 90% of the money. So my sister and I split a little money, and I ended up with $4,000. And at this point, my wife moves into the RV full time, and we bring Squeaky, mom's old cat, who's some of the captions of the first cat captions I got in my early videos is Squeaky in the RV. And so we lived in that RV until the literally very end of 2018 when we bought this house. Now we've been in this house 5 years, right? And going on 6 years now. It's actually we've passed the 5 year mark going into this 5+ mark, and I'm utterly grateful for that. And I'm still shocked in my brain, because I'd convinced myself a long time I would never own a house. I was just out of my ability to pay. I'd owed so much back child support for years that really put a crimp in a lot of things, you know. And then there's those paths not taken. I should have. I should have joined the military, the Navy or the Army. I wasn't going to be. My dad was a Marine. I wasn't going there. In the late '80s, when I really should have, and I didn't. I was a little too fat, and they gave me crap about it and said, "Well," and I'm like, "Well, F you," you know. And I mean, it wasn't that damn fat, but it was the Reagan era, and they could be very selective of who they took. That changed another decade later, and they were desperate to get anybody that, you know, to fill the boots, short of a draft. And so I passed up on that, and then I developed some bad habits that just progressively got worse, right? You know, and just say, you know, drugs and alcohol and other crap will lead to other crap, which will bring you to some pretty stupid location or decisions in your life. And if you make the wrong choice, there's a lot of people who made those choices, and their whole lives were different. And mine was not where it could have been, should have been. And then this led to, you know, finally settled down a little bit, got myself a long-term job, and then we had a strike in 2000, and the company shut the doors. Right? This is Iowa. This is a right-to-work state, so you can have all the unions you want in Iowa. And I've learned this the hard way, because I was a member of the Teamsters during that period of time, and we had a strike. And then the company just says, "Look, we can get trained monkeys to do this. You guys are," and we were arguing over 25-cent raise and dental insurance. We wanted dental insurance and a 25-cent raise spread over a 5 year, because they wanted a 5 year contract. We didn't. We wanted a 3. But that's where it fell apart, and they shut the door. They literally shut the door. And then 2 weeks later, reopened the doors, back in production with the rest of us out there cooling our heels. And there was nothing we could do. So I was able to get a government retraining grant through the United Way, which allowed me to go to college. So I went to college 2001, 2002, got myself an Associate of Applied Sciences degree in Computer-Aided Design, CAD Tech. Then I went on a journey to find a job, and nobody would hire. I was in my early 30s, so I'm old. I had no practical background. I was working in a warehouse, and before that was in convenience store and management. Convenience store management. I didn't have any manufacturing or construction or fabrication, any of that stuff. If I had any of that, that would have worked in my favor, because they kept telling me this. Or if I was like 20 and right out of school, they could mold me to be the person that they need. As if, you know, if you're 10 years older, you know, if you're in your 30s, you can't be taught and molded. You're already set in your ways. And after getting shut down about a dozen or so times, I got really depressed, really despondent, right? And I've told this story before, I guess. It just got really bad, and things got worse. And then I started drinking very heavily, and to the detriment of everybody around me. It was during that period that I ended up weighing 400. I got to weigh up to 420 pounds. Physically, I was going to kill myself. I was physically trying to kill myself slowly, the hard way. I just walking up a flight of stairs, I'd be at the top, holding on, winded, sucking wind. It was bad. And so this led to yet even more stupid decisions and some things that cost my family horribly. And I had to, you know, make amends for it. So I did. And tried ever since to change that and be a better and different person and have a better mindset. You know, this all takes its toll on people. It's just like the house. I should have bought a house. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. I should have bought a house in the 90s. There's no reason. And I look back at what I was making then, and my wife was actually making more money because she was working, and between the two of us, I could have. I just convinced myself it wasn't going to happen. And in part, I was being enabled by my parents, you know, because they really should have thrown me. My dad wanted to throw me out when I was 18, and he probably should have. He bloody well should have. And it would have been a hard thing to learn, but sometimes that's what it takes. Sometimes somebody has to be hard. Mom wouldn't allow it, and that just kind of made things, gave me an arrogance that I really didn't earn. And it took me decades to realize I was that arrogant. I'm grateful that I was able to make amends to my dad before he passed away, but we're back to that coulda, shoulda, woulda, the road not traveled. You know, the hyper lane not explored. You know, what do? You can't go back. You cannot go back. All you can do is now, and try for tomorrow. But now, focus on today and do the best you can today. It's like my role-playing game experience. It's one of my philosophies, or my mind rebels when I hear the utter eliteness that comes in some people's voices when they talk about their extreme preference for how they want to play. And then they seem to fail to grasp it by absolutely insisting on it being their way, that they are being the way they are, which is an actual detriment to gaming in general. I can roleplay, and I can get deep into character. I can immerse myself real well. As a GM, I can immerse myself in things too, and I have plenty of experience with that. But there are lots more to the game. Playing the game is just that. We start with the fact that this is a game, and we're going to play it as a game, with all the fun and the aggravation and the patience and lack thereof that comes with these sort of things. It's like, how many people in the Battletech community will appreciate this? How many times have you sat down with some friends to start a mini campaign or even a session of combat that lasted 2 or 3 days or weeks? Been there, done that. When I my friend David and I used to play Battle Force a lot. It got so bad, I set up some sawhorses and a table up in the attic of one of the 2 attics of my folks' house, and strung a light in there. So we had to, and it was brutal. It was like being in a sauna in there in summertime and freeze your butt off in the wintertime. But we'd laid that table out. We had Battle Force maps. You know, we had maps that covered a 4 foot by 8 foot sheet of plywood, or most of it, and would literally run planetary, campaigns with battalions and regimental scale maneuvers that would take weeks or months. It was a giant chess set. It was because that was the passion. And it's not hard to sit down and run a 4 or 5 hour game. This is one of the, I suspect, one of the reasons we've seen things move from the older original style of play to the battle value system that's very popular today, is because it expedites this, it speeds things up. And it's just like the combat things can be prolonged. That's one of the things a lot of people don't like about the latest renditions of Dungeons and Dragons, for example, is because it's almost impossible to kill your character to die. There's so many ways for that to be avoided because too many people become cringy, or they got, well, I invested so much time and effort, I don't want to see it. I get that. Nobody wants to see that. It kind of goes with the thing, though. My philosophy was always, if my character gets, something happens to the character in the session, the characters, unless the others can fix it, the character's gone. And at that point, it's just a matter of sitting out the rest of the session and trying not to interject and put my opinion in there, because once again, my character's dead and I'm not supposed to be there. And then figuring out sitting down with the GM, or whatever it takes to introduce a new character at some point by the next game session. And sometimes we were able to do that day. And this is where, having a backup character as your backup is always nice. So in the old adage of the D&D, you might, your backup character might have been one of the caravan guards that were whoop, sorry there, Mitchie. tried to put her in a box by mistake. That might be, or just somebody you're in a dungeon and this guy's bolted to a wall and you rescue him, and now he's got to deal with the fact that he ain't got no gear but what he can find, kind of thing. Been there, done those. So I mean, it's just goes around and plays around. And that's all part of the fun, in my opinion, anyway. So once again, from the for the Cleveland Battletech League, and Mark, the fellow who sponsored this and was extremely generous, dude. I don't know how many hundreds of dollars there's here. There's what, $300-400 worth of stuff here easily, and I know $20 to $18 to UP or to send this by parcel post, and wow, right? This is awesome, dude. Right now, I just have to figure out how to, is Apple compatible with Microsoft? I mean, can I take stuff from this computer and put it on this computer and vice versa without needing to, I don't know, some kind of weird conversion program? See? Gotta learn new stuff. This is awesome, though, because now, I have a confidence I'm not going to be shut down if something goes wrong on this other computer, and I get this one up and running and turn and use it and save this one for doing videos in here. That would be great, would be awesome stuff. Anyway, I'm Rick. That was a little Missy. Fluffy was there a little bit ago. Till next time, guys. I mean, seriously, what do you say? I mean, honestly, other than thank you, right? I don't deserve it. I don't. But it helps the channel. That's kind of the same thing about the monetization thing. If I can monetize the channel and I get a few $100s a year out of it, that helps pay for the cost of operating the channel. I mean, it's what it is. This is my hobby. A lot of times I can't afford to buy the novel or the game stuff that Catalyst puts out, let alone any other stuff. I've only bought a handful of other game related products. I was forced to buy the 5th edition core books because the guys absolutely insisted on the 5th edition rules. So for different campaigns I was running on D&D Beyond, so I bought those, and I haven't, unless I find something used at the game stores, and that happens occasionally. I'll find something that's fairly cheap and that I don't have. I'll snatch that, but they're usually it's from 2 systems ago, and which is fine with me, right? Which is fine with me. But I know there's new novels coming out. I see references to others. Currently, trying to figure out how I'm going to pay the $35 shipping fee that I got from my Kickstarter for Catalyst that they sent me yesterday. I got to make sure that I have that in there. It sounds like a lot. It doesn't sound like much, but when you're literally floating, $20 or $30 from you maxing out your card every month. I mean, it was $220 for the Discovery card payment for the month, and I paid $175 of it Friday, so I got another, $45 to pay, and then I'll probably pay another $75 because I'm trying to overpay because I am trying to walk it down. And then I think my city card's got probably $100 on it. I think its payment is due on the 23rd or 24th or something like that. It's toward the end of the month. Discover comes out early in the month. The other, the city card and the Capellen one comes out later in the month, and then the wife's come out right at the end of the month, and because she'll have like 2 days, or we'll have like 2 days before it's overdue, but by the time she gets her money we can pay it. And there was the we had to go, we go to the food pantry every 2 weeks. Food pantry is kind of thin these days. Wasn't a whole lot there. She did what she could, brought what she could back. You get a lot of really day-old bread that's there. They said you can come in there every day. They got a section up front that you can just come in and get bakery products because they get new stuff in every day. Well, that's because that stuff was pulled from the shelves, 4 or 5 days before, because they've already hit their expiration date. And so, of the bread she brought, 2 of them we had to chuck out because they were getting mold. They already had mold starting on them. So you couldn't see it until you opened the packages up, and then out the door they went to the birds. But that does help. It does help. And then, like I said, it's just this nickel and dime stuff every time I turn around. Just got a little pin in my rider out there. I've been very lucky. I've been very blessed in the last few years. Last 6 years, to be honest, I've been very blessed. It's hard sometimes to remember that. I try to remind myself that. Last summer, when Emily, the neighbor lady, sold her house, she gave us her John Deere riding lawnmower. It's an older one, but it runs real nice. Her kids didn't want it. That was, they didn't want it. They didn't want to sell it. They just said they didn't want it. They were going to leave it there. And they said, she said, well, you can have it. And, I've had to put a new tire on it, and I think I got to replace the other tire in the back. But there's a pin that holds the chute that keeps falling out. There's they call it not an E-clip, but a B-ring or something like that. They call it a Jesus clip because it'll pop off. It's a spring. It takes a little fancy tool, a little funky little inverted pliers to take it on and off. So I had to pick some up yesterday while we were out running around and try to get that on there, because it kind of freaks me out with the thing not laying on. It's that open blade just flipping a few, 6 to 8 inches from my feet. If you had to slip off that damn mower deck or something, I'd lose a foot. It's not something to take lightly. I have Dad's Kubota, really nice Kubota from 30 years old. But I think the starter's gone. The starter's going out. It's the start of the solenoid. It used to start real nice, and then 7-8 years ago, it started to become a harder and harder to start it. And now you have to go down and put a battery charger on it, and then wait to get a full charge, and then start that cranking over part. And if it pops over, be ready to let off that clutch, because if it stalls out on you, then you're going to be there for another hour trying to get start. And once it starts, don't shut it off. Don't shut it off. I've mowed the entire 5-acre property. When you talk about Earl's over here at the strip club, with that thing for the last 3 years. For the first 3 years we mowed it, you didn't dare shut it off, because I would have to run 1,000 foot of extension cord over there to get a battery charger on it. And I've changed the battery. 2 brand new batteries 2 years in a row, and it has nothing to do with it. So it's got something to do with the starter system. And I'm not a mechanic. I've learned that the hard way, the limitations, and they want $600 for just a general overhaul kind of thing. And I don't know, an aftermarket starter is probably $100, if I remember right, and then I have to know how to put it in and do it right, So, and I have mixed opinions. I really should just put a sell sign on it, put it on open market or whatever, and see and let somebody else have it. It's actually just two generations of owners. Very nice tractor. Part of that is why I don't want to sell it, because it was my folks. It came from my dad. It was my dad's, and I know the guy across the street that he got it from. So I mean, other than just sitting down here under the tarp and rotting away, I mean, it's hard to let it go. And we could maybe get $50, $100 out of it, kind of thing. And we're in a situation that might end up having to do that, just for peace of mind over the winter, because all the cats in the garage, we don't dare open the outer garage door because we don't want them running out and getting hit by cars. We buried too many of their companions that way the previous 4 years. And so my lawn equipment has to stay outside. And I got a little shed out back, but you can't put the riders in it. I got the snowblower down there, which I left it in there when we had that blizzard, and God, I wish I hadn't. So my hope this year is to build a little lean-to shed thing right here on the backside behind the house over here. I have, once again, we're back to luck. Somebody gifted us a whole pile of 2x4s. Their son went to prison, didn't have a use for it. Asked him if he wanted any of it, so I trucked home a whole truckload of it, and there's probably 20 8-foot long 2x4s sitting down there on top of my other shed. So I got the wood, and I can buy the sheet metal panels for $20 a sheet a piece. So it would take X amount to do a roof, and then X amount to fill the sides in. And if I build it up to next to the back of the house, I can forego a back wall. And that's my goal this year, is winter, is to have that thing up and functional, so I can put the John Deere and the snowblower in, because I can run an extension cord through the bedroom window and then be able to use, because there's an electric start on the dad's old snowblower, and I can plug it in and fire it up and take it around the house and use it if I need be, and mainly to get the equipment out of, get the tractors out of the damn weather. I had them under tarps all winter, and even then I've seen plenty of neighbors, they just leave theirs out year round, and like I don't know, to me that seems, if you can put them under cover, you should always put your equipment under cover. It just makes them last longer, in my opinion. Here we are running off again. A few weeks ago, it was brought to my attention unintentionally through something else I was watching, that we Iowans have this bad habit of what we call a 20-minute goodbye. Right? I said goodbye probably 3 times already, and and I'm still not 100% sure this thing went through. It says it's going through. I hope it's going through, because otherwise I just killed a good chunk of my afternoon, and I'm not making another damn video till next week unless I absolutely have to. So once again, Mark, really, I mean, honest dude, serious, really, I mean, ain't very many people who don't know a complete stranger sending this kind of stuff. Honestly, Jesus, dude. Till next time, right? You guys have a great weekend. What's left of it.
It just irritates me to no end.